What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And right now, one of the most trending things I see on my YouTube feed is folks like H3h3 and Grade A Under A and a ton of other YouTubers talking about stolen content here on YouTube. Now, this is a topic that's particularly interesting to me because I get what they call freebooted all the time over on Facebook. People will download my videos from YouTube without my permission, re-upload them in the entirety on Facebook, and sometimes they'll get 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 times the views that they will get here. That said, I'm going to try to make this as objective as humanly possible, though, because I think it's important that everybody understands what's legal, what's not legal, what's favorable here on the internet, and what's not, and why people are just so damn mad. So with this video, I do want to focus on reaction channels such as Jinx, who uploads entire videos that he reacts to. I've actually done that as well. I want to focus on people who upload videos with small snippets in it, say like H3h3 or Fine Brothers. I'm going to talk about people who do full-on aggregation like SoFlo Antonio does on Facebook. I'm going to talk about it all, and of course we'll talk about the money. They always say follow the money. When you're talking about using somebody else's created works, you're always talking about trying to stay within the realms of fair use. I know you've heard that many, many times. And what fair use is, it's an exception to copyright law that allows you to use other copyrighted works in a very limited and special way. This exception was made so that people could actually show the things that they might be commenting on or critiquing. They can show it for educational purposes. They can reproduce it in textbooks and things along that lines without getting any trouble. Generally, if it's for the greater good to reproduce it, then it's kind of okay to reproduce it. But even with that spirit of the exceptions in mind, there are still some rules as to how you're supposed to do it. The first rule is whether or not it has been created for commercial purposes or educational purposes. Obviously, if you're reproducing a photo or image or sound or video in order to teach about it or talk about it or break it down or add commentary or critique, obviously that's going to be allowed. If you're reproducing that item, though, in an attempt to sell it for its original value as if you were the one who made it, that's a no-go. Secondly, we look at the nature of the copyrighted work, and what this basically boils down to is whether it's fictional or factual. If it's fictional and it's something that someone created out of nothing, then your rights to reproduce it is very, very slim. But if it's a factual thing, like Kanye West was at the LA airport on Tuesday, November 16th, 2015, then that's something that anybody can reproduce. Thirdly, you want to look at the amount of the copyrighted material that has been reproduced. The fast and easy rule here is you want to reproduce as little of the original work as humanly possible to create your new work. So ideally, if you're writing a book review, you wouldn't want to reproduce the entire book as part of your review. You would only want to comment on relevant sections that you're critiquing. And number 4 is a bunch of legal jargon, the effect of use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Which is frustrating because this is honestly the most relevant part of fair use. Whether or not your reproduction of the thing or reproduction of elements of the thing will destroy the value of the original thing. A perfect example of when this can go wrong is when you, on your Etsy store, decide to start making Deadpool merchandise. And you become very, very famous for your Deadpool merchandise, outselling Marvel and taking away a chunk of their market. And when you do that, you are violating fair use. So now we have an understanding of what fair use is and how it should apply to the internet. And I'll let you know that this is never a guaranteed rule. Most people on the internet don't even want copyright applied at all. People want it to be a completely hands-off system. But most YouTube creators like myself or H3 or Grade A or just about really anybody else wants these basic rules to still apply even in the wild, wild west we currently live in. So the problem everybody has with reaction channels is they're certainly not playing by the fair use laws. Rather than uploading a minimal amount of the video to comment or critique on it, the way, say, H3 does or the way the Fine Brothers does, they upload the entire video. So sure, a reaction channel will add commentary before and after, and sometimes over the top of a video, and that does make it transformative, so therefore still fair use. However, it still violates Rule 4 when you upload the video in its entirety. Obviously, if I take the latest and greatest Marvel movie, and I put it in the bottom right-hand corner of my video and watch it silently with you, I will still impact the market share of people who will choose to watch it for free in that way and not go see it at the theater. Obviously, if you do the same thing to my latest Francis video, that video is going to get considerably less views. However, if I show you just a small snippet of that video like this...
Hey cutie, how you doing? You look pretty good. What's your name? I'm Ethan.
I'm Frank.
Nice to see you. You look great.
Then there's still plenty of video left for you to watch, and some of you will be encouraged to watch it, therefore increasing the market for that video. And that's why the community is so frustrated with reactors, because they are violating the spirit of fair use, if not the letter of the law. And likewise, that's why the community, as a general rule, doesn't have a problem with people like H3h3, who will use small snippets of a copyrighted work to create something new, still leaving plenty of room for their market to enjoy the original video. And that brings us to Facebook, where almost every YouTuber who's ever had a viral video has had their video downloaded here and uploaded on Facebook. And we may as well talk about the king of Facebook, SoFlo Antonio. Antonio has been recently accused of being a notorious freebooter on Facebook. Freebooting is basically taking someone else's content and re-uploading in its entirety, not giving credit, not attempting to do anything to reward the original creator, and even sometimes claiming it as your own. In Antonio's case, he tends to show the video almost in its entirety or in its entirety, but he does reformat it in a very special way that you can see here. He'll add a white border to the top and bottom of the original video, often with some sort of commentary or comments, and he considers this to be fair use. But even if that is somehow considered to be transformative, it still certainly violates rule number 4, destroying the value or the market for that original video. Now, Antonio has claimed recently that he licenses his clips, meaning he's contacted the original creators of the content, gotten their permission, and in many cases had them sign a license that allows him to distribute that regardless of copyright laws. And for the sake of objectivity, I want to believe Antonio, and I certainly hope that a good number of people that he's licensed from step forward and make the claim. But in the case of people who do not acquire that permission first, and do not acquire that license and compensate the creator in some way, it can be one of the most frustrating and upsetting and obviously damaging things that can happen to a video creator. And one of the reasons the community is so mad at Facebook is they make it my responsibility to try to figure out when someone else on the entire internet has uploaded one of my videos to Facebook. It is my problem, it is my issue, I have to find it, I have to know about it, and I have to fill out the forms to deal with it. Facebook just doesn't give a shit. What makes Facebook even more frustrating is the fact that they are rolling out a program for top-tier, most liked pages, including aggregators who freeboot content, that they'll start paying them for freebooting that content. And I gotta tell you, it is hard staying objective about that. You know, in summary, nobody likes copyright law, and hell, most of us don't even understand it, and most of us don't want it applying to our everyday lives. Even me, I create content, and I'm not a big fan of copyright law. But when it comes to the fair use exception, we all seem to really like that. I think that really boils down to the fact that fair use doesn't seem like a law. It just seems like common sense. Let me close by saying that if you are a content creator and you're making small videos on the internet, please feel free to use a small snippet of my stuff as long as it's within fair use. And if you decide to give me credit and send more awesome people to my channel to like and subscribe and tell me that they love my content, you've made me a very happy man. But if you're an aggregator of content, if you're someone who uploads entire videos to Facebook or reacts to an entire video here on YouTube, I would like to politely ask you not to do that. If you feel the need to do it, I'm probably never going to fight you on it. I'm not a big fan of litigation, but I will ask you to credit me heavily, heavily, heavily. It's just the right thing to do. But that's just one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and of course I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section below. While you're down there, in the description box, I'm going to link to the video I showed earlier over there on H3h3's channel. You can tell them that I sent you, and that I made you want to watch the video by sharing a small snippet in here. And if you'll allow me to be personal for just 1 second, please let me do one thing. Fuck Facebook. Seriously, guys, get your shit together over there. You're driving me crazy. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon.